On Global TV News Express, President Tinubu commissions Mabushi Bus Terminal. In business, climate gets higher allocation with DMS 50 billion naira green bond issue. And on the foreign scene, United Nations warns of looming famine in Sudan. Other global hunger hotspots. In sports, Nigerian Premier Football League seeks sponsors to acquire VAR. Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Express on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Priscilla Obasi. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and StarTimes channel 276. You can also download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app for Android and iOS devices to keep track of our broadcast. Now the news in detail. President Bola Tinubu has commissioned the newly constructed Mabushi Bus Terminal, declaring it a major milestone in his administration's efforts to modernize public transportation, enhance security, and boost economic opportunities in the Federal Capital Territory. Speaking at the commissioning, the president commended the terminal as a transformative project that will bring order, safety, and efficiency to Abuja's transport system. The Mabushi Bus Terminal, one of 3 such facilities in Abuja, was designed to replace chaotic roadside pickup points with a structured, secured, and has commissioned the Greater Abuja Water Supply Network to enhance potable water distribution across the Federal Capital Territory. President Tinubu described the water initiative as a transformative project that enhances national development agenda. Godwin Sunday has the details.
The Greater Abuja Water Supply Project is a major infrastructure development aimed at significantly improving the lives of approximately 2.5 million residents across 50 districts in the Federal Capital Territory, including 50 estates and mass housing scheme in the Phase 3 and 5 of the city.
I want to say today that we almost completed the procurement process to give water to Buhari, give water to Kubwa, give water to Buhari, give water to Kubwa, give water to Karu and some other communities. So we are not only providing water to the city, we are also providing water to the satellite towns.
This initiative is among several projects of the Federal Capital Territory Administration (FCTA) led by Minister Nyesom Wike. Godwin Sunday, reporting for Global Television News.
WISE 26 to establish a harmonized trade policy framework to eliminate barriers to intra-African commerce and investment, inclusive economic growth with particular attention to empowering women, youth, and small and medium enterprises.
The summit will feature a high-level dialogue between heads of state and business leaders, culminating in a joint communique that articulates shared regional priorities and concrete plan of action. The summit is to facilitate deliberate steps toward a prosperous, united, and globally competitive West Africa.
Summit highlights will feature the following key components: a presidential roundtable and CEO forum, a high-level dialogue between heads of state and business leaders, culminating in a joint communique that articulates shared regional priorities and a concrete plan of action.
Ramsey Enoch Agbo reporting for Global TV News.
The Inspector General of Police, Kayode Ebetokun, has assured the people of Benue State that security agencies will redouble their efforts in ensuring that lasting peace is restored to pave the way for peace and tranquility in the state. IGP Ebetokun gave the assurance during his on-the-spot visit to the state to ascertain the level of devastation of the recent attacks by suspected armed herders in Benue State. Correspondent Felicity Indere reports.
The visit of the Inspector General of Police IGP Kayode Ebetokun and the Chief of Defense Staff General Musa Christopher and their delegation is to commiserate with people of Benue State over recent suspected armed herders attacks that claimed dozens of lives and to have a first-hand assessment of the damage left behind by the attackers.
Move this motor from here.
You, sir.
The people of this community are not alone. We are with them. The entire Nigerian communities are with them. A day will come when these bandits will come to operate as they used to, and they will never return. That day is drawing nearer. I can assure you that we are committed to fight this battle and win this war. My appeal to the community is to cooperate with us.
For us, like I said, we want this to be the last one that will happen. We're going to go all out to ensure that we address it. We have put in measures in other places and it has worked. Here is not going to be different. I want to assure Nigerians that not only Benue State, all over the country, we are determined, based on the mandate of Mr. President, to ensure that we restore peace and tranquility within our country.
Governor Hisense Aliyah expressed gratitude for the visit, describing it as a gesture that represents the federal government's commitment in finding a lasting solution to the attacks that have lingered for long.
This is a killings uncalled for. Whatever thing it is, it's quite unfortunate that this kind of a carnage, this kind of killings, persists. I know we remain very hopeful that this kind of a devastating occurrence would not happen, not only within the local government.
Some residents of Yelwata who spoke to Global TV News expressed their agony in the hands of attackers.
It came in around the Yelwata East, started firing gunshots. They fired for almost 5 hours. They met a stiff resistance here from the police. Immediately when they met the resistance, they moved towards Yelwata Market, Yelwata New Market. There they slaughtered more than 100 persons. The incidents lasted for more than 5 hours. They burnt some of our community members in stores there. There are some stores that are housing more than 50 persons. All were burnt down.
They have killed 3 persons in a house. That was the starting of the massacre. Yes. So as that happens, then we were afraid. And that was at my own personal area. They were 4 in numbers. And they are Fulanis.
The delegation had earlier held a closed-door meeting with the governor for security details.
Moving on, the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres has condemned the attacks perpetrated by the weekend in Benue, north-central Nigeria, in which scores of civilians were killed. Guterres said those responsible for the violence should be apprehended and added that dozens of people were killed while they slept and several were displaced following brutal attacks in the village of Yelwata. Still in the Benue State, where the Labour Party has condemned the recent mass killing, calling for immediate deployment of security personnel to protect vulnerable communities across Nigeria's north-central region. Describing the attack as a fresh wave of senseless killings, the party's National Caretaker Committee, chaired by the Senator Nenadi Usman, urged a full-scale investigation and swift prosecution of the perpetrators, regardless of status or affiliation. Usman also expressed deep sorrow over the killing of more than 100 people, including women, children, displaced persons, and security operatives, as well as the destruction of homes and livelihood. Meanwhile, former Anambra State Governor and 2023 Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi has criticized President Bola Tinubu's delayed visit to crisis-hit regions of the country. In a post on X, Obi hailed Tinubu's planned visit to Benue massacre communities, but noted that similar compassion should be shown to communities in Niger State, particularly Mokwa, where floods reportedly claimed over 200 lives and more than 1,000 people missing. The former Anambra State Governor also warned that selective empathy and leadership by what he called remote control sends a dangerous message to grieving Nigerians. Let's turn to other stories now. Edo State Governor Senator Monday Okpebholo has named retired General Cecil Esakebe as chairman of Livestock Control Committee to end clashes between herders and farmers in the state. Speaking at the inauguration of the 27-man committee, Governor Okpebholo tasked the committee to work line with the terms of reference. Governor Okpebholo urged the committee to handle the task carefully while the assignment was being carried out. The Corporate Affairs Commission, CAC, has announced a fresh review of its service fee, which will take effect from August 1st, 2025. In a public notice, the Commission explained that the fee adjustment is part of efforts to deliver efficient, technology-driven services that align with the needs of businesses and the Nigerian economy. CAC stated that the decision was taken after a thorough assignment of current economic conditions, rise in operational expenses, and consultations with key stakeholders. Ibrahim Mantu, former Deputy President of Nigerian Senate, has died at the age of 74. He reportedly passed in a private hospital in Abuja, where he had been receiving treatment for a few days. Funeral prayers were scheduled to take place the same day at the Apo Legislative Mosque in Abuja. Mantu's political career spanned over 4 decades, beginning his journey in 1978 and rising to become Deputy State Chairman of the National Party of Nigeria, NPN, in Plateau State in 1980. He was a founding member of the Liberal Convention and in 1990 contested unsuccessfully for the national chairmanship of the National Republican Convention, NRC. You are watching the live broadcast of News Express. When News Express returns, the United Nations has warned of looming famine in Sudan, Gaza, and 3 other global hunger hotspots. Details coming, plus business and sports stories on the other side of this break. Please stay with us. Now in business, welcome back. The president of the Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria on the federal government of Port Harcourt and Warri refineries few months after they resumed operation. The association's president stated this while addressing journalists on critical issues impacting the nation's oil and gas sector. Godwin Sunday was there for Global Television News.
The President, Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria, Comrade Festus Osifo, called on the federal government to urgently rehabilitate Nigeria's 4 national refineries and consider investing majority shares to the private sector, adopting a model similar to the Nigerian Liquefied Natural Gas, NLNG.
We are calling on government and the handlers of the refineries, the management of NNPC Limited, to look at the full scope of the refinery, to look at the operational model of the refinery, and to yield to the time-tested call that we have made in Pengassan. Successive administrations in Pengassan has called on government at all levels, most especially because these are federation assets, to come together and ensure that our refineries are managed optimally.
The union proposed the creation of strategic petroleum product reserves across Nigeria's 6 geopolitical zones to mitigate fuel shortages and ensure a stable supply. He emphasized the need for long-term strategic planning in the energy sector.
Then, on the issues of pipeline vandalization, a lot of these companies, they have deployed private drones. A lot of these companies, they brought in security experts, even from abroad, on how the issues and cranny of Nigeria, they are well protected.
The union reiterated its commitment to advocating for the welfare of Nigeria's oil and gas workers and contributing to the development of a robust and sustainable energy sector. Godwin Sunday, reporting for Global Television News.
Nigeria's food inflation has declined for the second consecutive time to 21.14% in May 2025, down from 21.26% in April 2025. The National Bureau of Statistics disclosed this in its latest Consumer Price Index released. Similarly, headline inflation dropped to 22.97% in May from 23.71% in April 2025. The Debt Management Office, DMO, has announced plans to raise up to 50 billion naira through the issuance of its Series 3 federal government green bond aimed at financing climate-friendly projects with climate change adaptation and mitigation initiatives to receive the largest allocation of 15.96 billion naira. Patience Oniha, Director General of the Management, made this known during the official launch of the Green Bond held in Lagos. A breakdown of the spending plans for the FGN Series 3 Green Bond shows that 15 billion naira will be allocated to clean energy transition initiatives, including the development of local infrastructure, conservation of CNG, and electric vehicles. Now on the foreign scene, as Israel and Iran continue to exchange missiles, the European Commission has waded in, stating its stance on the conflict. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen also made a case for Gaza aid to be effectively facilitated. Uyi Abumifebe reports.
European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen says she told Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu that diplomacy is ultimately best.
Iran should never acquire nuclear weapons. So he described the situation. We were both, of course, aligned in the fact that Iran should not have nuclear weapons without any question. Nuclear weapons without any question. Of course, I think a negotiated solution is in the long term. The best solution.
She, however, made clear that in her telephone conversation with Prime Minister Netanyahu, they both agreed that Iran should not be allowed to acquire nuclear weapons.
I insisted and urged that humanitarian aid that is not reaching Gaza has to go into Gaza. He promised that this is the case and that this will be the case. So I will be working, coming back home from G7, on having a close look at the facts, where our humanitarian aid is, how it reaches Gaza, whether it gets into Gaza, what we can do to make sure that humanitarian aid reaches the people.
Placed the blame for the new
NPFL side, Nasarawa State. And still in sports, Galatasaray will contact Newcastle United for their star striker Alexander Isak if they fail to sign Victor Osimhen on a permanent transfer. This was disclosed by sports presenter Volkan Kilik on a post on X, where he also admitted that the possibility of Galatasaray landing Isak wouldn't be easy. And as Global TV News Express comes to an end, here's a recap of our top stories. We told you President Bola Tinubu has commissioned the newly constructed Mabushi Bus Terminal, declaring it a major milestone in his administration's effort to modernize public transportation, enhance security, and boost economic opportunities in the Federal Capital Territory. In business, we said the Debt Management Office DMO has announced plans to raise up to 50 billion naira through the issuance of its Series 3 federal government's green bond aimed at financing climate-friendly projects with climate change adaptation and mitigation initiatives to receive the largest allocation of 15.96 billion naira. And on the foreign scene, we told you the United Nations World Food Programme has warned of increasing hunger in 13 hotspots around the world, with 5 of them facing an immediate risk of starvation and death in the coming month. In sports, we told you chairman of the Nigerian Premier Football League, NPFL, Benga Elebeleye, says the league's body is in search of sponsors for the procurement of video assistant referee VAR machines for the Nigerian top flight. And that is it on Global TV News Express. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. You can follow us across all social media platforms now showing on your screen using @Global